We're gonna get this exclusive review here. Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. So allow me just to do a quick preamble. Sorry, I'm gonna keep it short, because we could talk more in the spoiler review, right? But yeah, Ricardo, you got to see it,
Last night, yeah,
first,
I went last night.
last night literally, before many of us will see it in theaters later on this week, right? Because in our second episode of Beers, Beats and Bailey, in a little, music studio somewhere in Arima, I think it was. Yeah, we were
Right.
talking about Mission Impossible, not
Rogue
Fallout,
Nation.
sorry, Rogue Nation, which
Rogue
came out in
Nation.
2015.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Right.
And a few years later, and again, it's just things come in full circle. The same time that I talked about Blind Spotting, I also talked about we talked about Fallout, right? That was in 2018,
Right.
right? So look at that, right? Look at how things come together, right? But yeah, and I actually put out those episodes out, well, those clips out basically as throwbacks, right? And I will like just hate it again for myself, though. I would admit I was a little critical of those shows, because yeah, watch
Right.
them over because I actually recapped them just a couple days ago. I just wanted to get them out of the way before even this movie came out, right? Before Dead Reckoning, because normally I'd watch those like a couple days before watching Dead Reckoning. But I say, you know what? I have a feeling stuff may come up this week, so let me just get those out of the way, right? And yeah, those shows still hold up to this day, right? I mean, of course, from a technical
Yeah.
level and the action, all that kind of stuff, of course, right? Yeah,
5. Yeah, 5 is still my personal favorite of the entire franchise.
right. Well, that's Rogue
I
Nation, right?
really like 5. Rogue Nation,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah.
And yeah, well, for me, I've grown to love those films even more, right? The more I've seen them,
Yeah.
right? And especially with more recent viewings. My criticisms back then, still make a lot of sense though in terms of, the convolutedness and whatnot. But I will say, right, and I'm also gonna go. I'm even gonna go into Dead Reckoning Part 1 with this mindset. They're not perfect films, right? None of them are anyway,
Right.
right? So of course you may have an issue with the double and triple crosses that I had with Fallout, or some stuff may feel a little convoluted, like how I felt with not Dead Reckoning, sorry, with Rogue Nation, right? But still, as Mission Impossible movies, as vehicles for Tom Cruise to show that even at his age, whatever it is, I think it's in his, let me see quickly
60s.
how old he is.
Is 60s.
Yeah, that even
Should.
at age goddamn 61, this man is
Yep.
still,
Early 60s.
probably one of the last living action heroes. Like I will legit call him the last action hero, right? Yes, I know that is what Schwarzenegger was, but sorry, Tom Cruise is the last action hero, right? But yeah,
Yeah.
as
Pretty
vehicles
much,
for
yeah.
Tom Cruise to just be a badass and run and show his teeth while running and just give us these edgy seat action thrillers, boy. Yeah, these movies just knock it out the park, boy. Like with everyone, it just gets better and better and better. And I could honestly see that with Rogue Nation and Fallout Boy. Those shows are fantastic, right? Despite the fact, of course, that they're not perfect films, both from a narrative and a technical perspective, right? They're not perfect, but that's fine. It's still summer blockbuster entertainment, and that's what we come to expect, right? So yeah, I am excited as hell for Dead Reckoning Part 1, and of course when I check it out, I will deliver my thoughts on it, and of course we will get into spoilers, right? But for now, this will just be a spoiler-free review of it. And please, don't give it too much. Well, if you have to get a little spoilery, just 1 minute advance, though, because I want to go in as
No, not
blind as
really.
possible,
I don't
right?
think I need to.
But yeah, I'm excited as hell for this, and I guess this is why I'm just talking so goddamn much about Mission Impossible, right? But yeah, Ricardo, take it away. Well, I guess before we get to Dead Reckoning, you can mention Rogue Nation and Fallout. How those shows still hold up for you?
Yeah, kind of a little bit. I mean, I still like Rogue Nation the most. I thought it was still the most. He was the most interesting villain. Um,
Oh yeah, Solomon Lane,
Solomon Lane.
great villain.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought I like the story. The look. I think I'm very biased towards Mirror Darkly storyline. So like the whole idea of an
yeah. Just
anti-IMF.
an IMF thing.
Right?
That's
Yeah, yeah.
fantastic. Yeah.
That's cool. So it's all of that make it work. I like Fallout enough, but I thought the twists involving Henry Cavill's character was not that interesting, and I thought was
Hmm.
like you kind of see it coming, and it was
True,
kind
true,
of lame.
true. Like there's
I
literal
thought
shots where they will linger on Henry Cavill, like after
right,
a mention of John Locke. It's like, of course he's John Locke, duh. Like
right, right.
that's what Christopher McQuarrie is telling us with his shot that
Yeah,
Henry
yeah, yeah.
Cavill
And
is John
it
Locke,
made
right?
it's a little obvious, and I thought that that whole sequence with him being revealed as the villain was just pretty badly done because you saw it coming a mile away. That was one. And then two, I didn't like that they brought back Solomon Lane. Like, they could have do, they should have leave him out. Like, I felt he should either stay in prison or die from the last film or something like that. I didn't care for him coming back, and how they used him was kind of bad. Like, he's perfect in the last movie, and then he was kind of terrible in this one. But the action sequence was great. Great scenes. They make it work for what it was. So I enjoy 5 and 6 for what it was, and I'm not a super fan of four that most people seem to be, but I still like four, and still four does still hold up enough for me. But it's one that, other than the Dubai stuff, everything else is unmemorable from it.
Yeah,
Um,
even the
for me,
villain, I don't remember the villain to be
don't
honest.
remember the villain either. Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. This one is for me a disappointment. Not for one simple
What?
reason. For one simple reason, this shit does not need to be in a part two or part one kind of thing. It could have been one
Oh,
movie.
I see. I see.
That's the problem. It's Hunger Games kind of thing. Like, why you justify? It don't need to be a part one. I get why they're doing it because it's probably the last film involving Ethan. But it well involving Tom Cruise because they do something in this that hints that we might get more films with another character, right? And this character is
I see.
introduced,
Hmm.
and the person is a big enough star that they could totally hold a franchise and make it work. It's quite possible given what they seem to be heading in the direction with. But two big problems I had with this one. The script itself, like I like the idea. On premise, is not a bad idea. Like what they're going for and the concept of it and what it means to them given in terms of operation, not the worst idea. But at the same time, it nowhere near as engaging as it could be, mostly because of the villain, well not the main villain behind it, but like the side villain kind of thing. That's why it don't really work all that well for me. But yeah, and then action is not bad. It starts very strong. So all the action sequence, the first early stuff was really strong. It drags in the middle, and then the final set piece is pretty good. But it doesn't. The cliffhanger not that strong. So that's why I wasn't really hyped on it. For what it was now. And they have little side people like this girl Mantis, isn't it? Pom Clementif.
Oh, okay, okay. She in
Pom
that. All right.
Clementieff.
Hmm.
Yeah, she's in this and she's have a nice little side role, but I felt they could have fleshed her purpose a little better, like why she doing what she doing a little better. But whatever, I get why they was going for it. And yeah, as I said, my problem is the main villain and what he was about and his relation to Ethan. Not that strong. Sorry, nowhere near as good as the last two villains in my humble opinion. But the main set piece at the end, it's something involving a train. It's pretty awesome.
Hmm. I saw
Pretty
bits of
damn
it in the
awesome.
trailer, so I know what to expect. Hmm.
No, well, I don't think you know what to expect
Oh,
because
oh, oh.
what they do is at the end, like last big set piece, uh, it's pretty awesome. I don't think you expect that. Is what they do with it. It's some real. Well, I'll think I'll spoil it by saying this. But it it real impressive, like
Hmm.
real damn impressive. Like what they go, like how they do this practically. I really want to see the behind the scenes to this because it's
Okay.
very impressive. But yeah, it's I was still let down, and mostly because I really felt that they could have tightened up that middle sequence much better. And I feel like it could have probably just tell this in one story. Like I do, that second movie had to be real fucking good for me for them to justify that second part. As far as I know, it have no post credit scene. So I don't know. I went home one time.
All right. Well,
If it have
well,
a
well.
post
As
credit scene, I
far as
won't
I
know.
remember, no MI movie has had post-credit scenes anyway, so we're good.
Exactly, exactly. But because it's a cliffhanger, people think it might have one. Blah blah blah.
Hmm.
I don't sure. So but yeah, the way how it's setting itself up, involving certain characters, there's all I'll just say. There's a scene involving, if you know who Quiet from Metal Gear Solid 5 is, it's straight up that. It feels totally like
Hmm.
that. Um, but it's some real Metal Gear Solid 5 vibes. You get with that. But yeah, um, they do certain things. They do one big thing in this. I was like, all right, not it was not mind blowing because they clearly all I'll just say is that these brunette white women seem to be interchangeable. That's all I'll say. Um,
Oh
but
God.
yeah,
Again.
yeah, again. But yeah, it's nowhere near as impactful as I felt it could have been. Like that, a lot of that fell flat for me. But it had some decent jokes, some decent humor. Action sequences are okay. Not it starts strong. The early stuff was good. It ends strong, but the middle part I find drag hard for me personally. But it wasn't
Hmm.
like it's some real dog shit kind of thing I said. It was a little ruined by me because it had some like girls sitting down next to me and this would not shut the fuck up. I'm sorry to say it. So
Okay,
that
them teeny boppers, right?
listen, what kind of weird is like, will you come into the screening so goddamn late to buy up the seat? So late because they buy up my seat now. The seat I usually go to, so that get me mad too. But like, and I think it is some real adults who buy this up and they're real into filming. Like, some three little girls come through to like late night screenings to come to this fucking thing. Whatever.
And
Moving on.
and and and, 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 and sorry to cut you, and you know how it is, right? They always had to call their friend. They always had to pull up the phone. No, we sitting
Bruh,
here. We over here. We over here.
listen,
Come.
listen,
I last time I ran into that shit, though, was with Rise of the Beast. Weirdly enough, with Transformers. Yeah,
I won't
there
have
was some
mind.
people who's like that.
Yeah, I won't have mind. I won't have mind if they would have chill out. Like if they were just quiet and they just talking a little bit, but they had their phone open. So I seen that bright goddamn light in the corner of my eye. Need to lock that down. Sorry.
Yeah.
But whatever, I chill out
No.
myself. It wasn't like a big deal. They didn't do too much, but it really experienced a little bit to me.
Right.
Whatever. Small thing,
No.
big
As
deal.
I bring up that, right? So not surprising to unless you're not in the know, right? This is one of those shows, right? I guess you could mention it before you get to read it, right? That is supposed to save the summer, right? Because people just don't want to come out and see movies, and that is the reason, apparently, right, why the Flash and
Okay.
Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny flopped, right? Because people just want to
Right.
come outside and watch movies. I think
Well,
it's the
thing is,
quality of the
people went to
films.
see Spider-Verse, so
True. Yeah, I think it's just the quality of the
so
films.
and Guardians 3.
Right. But just those two in familiar, in familiar, right? Hollywood's like, why people didn't come and see Flash? Because the stories just weren't
Shit.
told properly. The stories were
Yeah,
just trash.
the
I'm
shit.
sorry, right?
That's right.
So
Yeah, exactly.
as far as well, I expected this movie itself to just be a great summer blockbuster movie, right? I not expected this to be the next Top Gun Maverick, even though it stars Tom Cruise. Where, oh my God, it's bringing back
I don't know.
the greatness of watching a movie on big screen, all that kind of stuff, right? So I'll get to the point. So with this now, right, with this film, right, and I mean, I'm not gonna like tell any Gen Zer, hey, you're coming to watch a show, put away your phone and watch this, right? They could do whatever they want to do. But as far as I could say, they could care less. They just want to see shit blow up, right? They could stay home, wait till they come out on Netflix, whatever, and watch it, right? Their lives are gonna come to an end, right? But for people like me who just want to, experience a great movie, is it worth seeing on the biggest screen possible, like IMAX, for example? Is it worth the big ticket price, or should I just go to a smaller cinema and see it?
Yeah, I can't go. Because here's the thing, I do think generally the IMAX in general is overrated. So I'm not sure if you could probably spend your money. I'm not sure. I would personally, I'd probably go for the slightly smaller screen, to be honest. But look, it have no set piece that real blow me away, but it has solid set piece. And I imagine the final set piece, yes, maybe, given what they do with it, like what they do with it involving, again, I would love to see how they do this behind the scenes because it's some real big, okay, so this might be a slight spoiler, but basically an Inception set they do, right? That's all I'll say.
Okay. And
Yeah,
as a huge fan of Inception, I think I know what you're
right,
talking about. That's all I will say without spoiling anything.
right, right. Yeah, but they do something like that, and I think it was really impressive, like what they did there.
All right.
But other than that, I'm not sure. Like it again, it's fine. It good. I felt a drag in the middle, and I felt the villains. It have like two or three, I should say. And then there's kind of an interesting twist at the ending, involving a certain character. Not that interesting. It's just like, all right, okay, that make a little bit of sense, blah blah blah. But yeah, as it is, I was a little disappointed, mostly because they watered it down. This could have
Huh.
been one movie. I felt if they made it a tighter script, and it would have been real hard. But it really feels watered down. Unless that second part is mind-blowingly amazing, then fine. It'll justify the first part being the way it is. But as it is, it don't feel like that at all. I feel like it'll finish the story. The way it looking, I feel like it'll finish the story. Given what they set up and what the story is about, I feel like it'll finish this in one.
Right, and
However,
it probably
we'll
not
see.
going to be the
It's
end,
still
and it
good
probably not going
direction.
to be the end of the series anyway, right? Because another fun
Well,
fact,
what
Tom Cruise
they
was making jokes last week. Hey, I could be doing this when I eat, you know.
Well, maybe. I mean, we see Harrison Ford doing this late too, but whatever.
Yeah.
Given what they set up in this, it could be his last film, but not the last film. They set up
Right.
something. It looked like it's setting up something to go forward, and I could totally see this person leading the franchise in that way. It is possible. right? Not sure
Haha,
for sure,
possible, right?
but it is possible. Like, yeah, I could see it happening. Right. Yeah, I still had fun at it. It wasn't bad, but I was underwhelmed mostly because yeah, I really feel again if the part two blow me away and shut me up, then okay, great. But I not get any feeling. I get any feeling it's gonna be some Hunger Games thing where yeah they put it in two parts where they need to be in two
Yeah,
parts.
and,
That's
and,
how I
and
feel
it's
about it.
it's long
Like
because it's Christopher Corey and Tom Cruise. That's why, right?
it's
So
long,
yeah,
right? Exactly. And I want if it's one part and it's long, that's fine. But it's real long and it's two parts. I'm like, right, so why this so
yeah.
long? However.
All right. So in closing, so this is not the summer saving movie that we all expected, right?
Well, I mean, look, Tom Cruise. Listen, look, it's Bobby with that tool. You
Yeah,
know,
Bobby
the
with
man
that
is
too.
bring out the crowd, so I could see him. I could see it. I could see it bringing out our audience. To be honest, like I could see it doing well because when I went, I wasn't expecting that many people, and it had a lot of people. So, in fact, it was full. It was
Hmm.
full. It's completely packed. So I'm like, all right, well, would. And that was like a real late screening kind of thing now.
Right.
And tonight is another late screening. So like, all right, well, would.
Hmm.
You know, like people coming out first. I can see the crowd coming out. I can see it making money. You know, I can see it doing well. I wouldn't be surprised. But I was just like, from just a purely critically standpoint, I was just underwhelmed. But it was an entertaining outing, all things considered. I just didn't like how it was structured, and again, the normal criticky, nitpicky bullshit things. But you'll when you see it, you'll see it, and I think you'll know what I'm talking about when you actually see it. So
Right. Okay. So yeah, we dragged this out enough. Yeah. What's your rating?
yeah, yeah. For me, like given what they set up and why I thought the story wasn't as strong as it could have been. Yeah, I get this a 7 out of 10. Definitely
All right.
inferior
All right.
to yeah, definitely inferior to Fallout and definitely inferior to Rogue Nation in my humble opinion.
Ooh. Huh.
So, but not, but yeah, and I think it's weaker than 4 to be honest.
Huh.
In my humble opinion.
Huh.
But again, it's a part one.
Uh-huh.
It's a
Uh-huh.
part one.
Hmm.
So I'll wait till part two to give a proper judgment. But I really didn't enjoy this mostly because I thought the cliffhanger was pretty weak. Given what it was setting up. Like if certain events play out slightly differently, it would have been a stronger cliffhanger. But like it's like all right, well, like not that strong of a cliffhanger as it is. However, moving on.
Yeah. All right. So thanks for the heads up. So yeah,
Right.
God willing, I will check it out later on this week, and yeah, we'll definitely have a review, or I will have a review for it, and we could get into spoilers at that point in time, right?
Right.